Yeah, my name's Larry. I'm with Underthebridge Flies, and we're going to tie up a zonker. This is a good winter pattern. Fish really love these things. I'm tying them up a couple for some customers, so I figured I'd go ahead and make a video of it real quick. We're using a Daiichi 1710 size 4, and you can get these. Just give me a holler on my Facebook. These are actually not bad. I think they're like 14-15 bucks for a box of 100 of these, so good cheap deal there. Anyway, so I'm going to use me a black Unithread 6.0. Color is pretty much preference of whatever color you think will work in your area on these. This one here, we're just going to tie us up a black zonker real quick. What I'm doing here is I'm going to get my thread started right there behind the eye, and I'm just building up a little bit of a thread base right here just so my eye sets, you know, halfway decent on me. And I'm using a lead eye. These are Wapsi lead eyes, large. I'm using red for this one here. They have a lot of different colors in these. Okay, a lot of guys are going to invert their hook and everything when they do these. I don't do that. I just throw the eye across the room that way. You know, it gets good, and you know, got to show the eye who's boss before you start this. So I just hold it up there and throw a couple quick wraps around it, and we're just going to go the other way real quick, and that's all there is to it. We just move this back just a hair. We want a little space for tie-in and stuff like that up front there, so just go ahead and wrap this thing, you know, do some figure eights around it, get the eye where you want it, and then take your thread and go over the eye, but under the hook, and do that about 3 times and give it a, you know, couple good snugs, and that really tightens everything down. And then we're just going to bring our thread back to the front there a little bit and throw a couple quick whip finishes around it, and I'm going to get this thread out of the way. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zap-a-gap them eyes real quick in this thread. We're going to throw some zap-a-gap under there, turn our hook over a little bit, get some under there, push that in real good, and that's just going to seal all that together for us. So next thing is we're going to use a .020 lead wire. You can use, you know, 0.25, 3.0, depends on how thick you want your body on these to be is all, you know. I mean, you don't have to use any at all. I suggest you use them, but with the lead eye and this hook completely wrapped like it is, adds a lot of weight to this fly, and it really gets it, you know, to sink down real quick for us. So you got any, you know, extra back air, just to wrap it around, and then take your lead wire and pull it back and zap-a-gap again. If you ain't using zap-a-gap, get you some. This stuff is awesome. The brush on stuff, that's what I'm using. Anyway, so push your lead back forward, get it up there, and you don't have to go through all that, you know, tying your lead wire with your, you know, thread and all that stuff. So I'm just going to get my thread started behind that lead wire, and we're going to get rid of that tag in. Now we're going to put in a piece of wire, and I'm using a black wire on this fly. You can use, you know, any color that you got there. If you don't have any wire, use a piece of tippet. Get you, you know, chunk of tippet and use it. But we're just going to tie that wire in, you know, pretty good there, and move our thread back to the back of the hook and let that wire hang off the back. Yeah, a piece of tippet or anything will work really good for tying this in. All you're using it for is to hold your rabbit down, so it's not that it makes that big of a difference. I'm using Magnum rabbit strips, hairline. If I can, most of the streamers and stuff I tie, I use Magnum. It's a double of what a regular rabbit strip is. The cost is, I mean, really not even close to, it's, you know, this is, you know, just as cheap pretty much. I mean, and we're going to go a hook and then just a little bit more, and we're going to find out where we want to tie this thing. Take our scissors and separate that, and once you got that separated to where you can see you got a nice separation, just take and lick your fingers, get that, just get that rabbit wet right there, get the wet rabbit look. If it was a duck, we'd be calling it a ducktail. We're just going to slide it back. Once you set that on, now take your finger and wrap, make sure you're holding that, you know, to where it's wrapping around your hook, and get you a couple of wraps around that real quick. Tighten down a couple more. The only thing you gotta watch here is you're not buckling your, you know, the rabbit when you're doing this. So you really don't want to. I'll show you real quick. See, your rabbit on this side is going to flare up on you. Gosh darn it! If you ain't real careful, so you don't want it to, you know, you just don't want it to flare up. If you just stuff dries pretty quick too. But just keep an eye on that. Make sure you're not flaring the side of your rabbit up. You want it to lay flat. But throw you 5, 6, 7 wraps around there. It doesn't really. And then just pull that back. And my Zap-A-Gap's still drying here apparently, because I just stuck my fingers to it. Get some wraps around front. You can go back around your rabbit again if you want to. Don't have to. Next thing I'm going to do, some people, you know, wrap these with a, you know, flash, a tinsel, floss, something like that. On these, when I'm using the Magnum and everything, I like my flies, especially on the biggers, you know, when I get to size 4, size 2 and everything, I want a thicker body on these, so I'm using the chenille. And the color of chenille I'm using is a cactus black. It's made by Hairline. It's in one of my chenille tubes, so we don't have a package to show you, but if you get that hair pulled back out of your way, and just take and get you a good start on that chenille. Make sure that hair stays back. Once you get your chenille tied in, just go ahead and move your thread up there behind the eyes, and we're just going to take and wrap this chenille and get it moved up front. And like I said, I just like the little thicker body that the chenille creates. So, and then we're going to capture that and snip off the excess up there, and look at there, we're ready for the next one. If you're not using these, you can see how good they work right there. I mean, these things are awesome. I'm ready for the next one. I don't have, you know, all of this to push back in the bag or a big mess when I'm doing it. You got to check out my wedge page and, you know, see about getting you some of these. They work good. So next thing I do is just grab my wire here, and I'm going to bring my wire, and we're just going to kind of weave our wire through there. Just move it back and forth as we're going through, and we're going to move our wire up to about 1/8 of an inch or so, where past where we just tied in with our thread, and split us a nice little area here. And again, you don't have to be, this doesn't have to be real perfect. If you use your scissors, you can, you know, split a good area fairly quick like. Just grab your wire and go around that and give it a little tug. Be real careful with your wire. If this is actually a 28 gauge wire that I'm using, it comes in, Spirit River has these boxes, and it comes with 6 different colors, and I use it a lot for my streamers because I can really torque down on my wire when I'm, you know, pulling it through, and I get a really nice tie down with this rabbit strip. So and then I'm just going to keep moving that up a little bit and pulling it down, give it a little wiggle, move our hair back some, bring that up again, and I'm moving it forward by pulling my hair up. You see that? That way when on the bottom of my fly, I'm actually getting a nice little rib pattern as well. So, and then we'll just get that cinched down a little bit, pull that hair back, go in front of the eye, throw it a wrap a couple times around that, you know, so you can capture it fairly easy, and then just wrap you some thread around that thing, and then we're going to get rid of that extra wire. Just twist that off real quick, Now you're just going to grab your hair and separate it on front here. Again, I'm just going to use my scissors and find me a nice little area right there. Don't crowd your hook too much on this, but you do want some of it laying, to where you're getting a nice chunk of hair behind that eye, over the top of that eye. Once you get that, we're just going to throw a couple wraps around that, give it a little tug, make sure she's good and tight, get these materials out of the way, and we're just going to hold that right there, and we'll get a couple more wraps around that, and kind of tighten them down as you go. And then just get up here, and we're going to cut just give our haircut, get as close as you can, zip that off real quick like, and tie that all down. Make you a little head right here, and if your head's got a few bumps in it, it doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it, because I promise the fish do not care. If the fish don't care, why do you? Whip finish, lock it in, snip off your string. Now, the top coat I use for these, you can use a UV top coat or something like that with your UV light if you have it, super glue or whatever. I use fingernail polish. I use this stuff from dollar store, and it's a hardener that the ladies and a few gentlemen, I suppose, use it to coat the top of their fingernails so they don't chip and stuff on them. And it hardens up real fast, and it hardens up, pretty good. Saves the front of that fly, but like I said, it's just a top coat. Family Dollar store, everybody's got those. There's bargain bins. You get this for $1. I mean, why spend, $7-8 for stuff when you can get it for $1? Anyway, that's it. That's your zonker. Easy tie. There's so many variations. Remember, the only limitations to your tying is your imagination. I like that saying though, but it's a really good fly. It will catch fish, so I suggest if you don't have any of these in your box, tie you some up. The underbody can be pretty much anything you want it to be, any color that you want it to be, whatever you think the fish is going to hit. There's just so many options to this fly that, a person can tie up. Like I said, use your imagination. You never know what might not work. Something else good, with the red eyes, you might want to throw some red thread around that nose, give it a little bloody nose look or whatever. Just a little red stripe or something, it's fairly easy. I just did it right there. I mean, red attracts them fish, so, give it a shot. Might be worth a try, might not. I don't know. Do it, ask the fish. Anyway, appreciate you watching my videos. I hope that you learned something from them, or what not to do from them at least. Anyway, if you need any of these materials, any of these great chenille tubes, any of these flies, get me on Facebook, Underthebridge Flies. Message me. Say, hey Larry, where do I get those tubes, man? I want some of those. I'll get some over to you. I sell all the materials you can think of, all the flies you can imagine, and some stuff that nobody else does. So give me a holler, give me a like on Facebook, and I hope you all enjoyed my videos, and I hope you watch again. Thank you, and you all have a great day.